I've been tracking this pattern since the first cold fronts of October began plunging southward, and the signals are now undeniable. We're on the verge of one of the most dynamic, snow-laden early winters this nation has witnessed in over a decade. In fact, when I analyze the temperature anomalies and model projections for snow depth, it's impossible not to recall the legendary winter of 2013-2014, the one that buried the Midwest, froze the Great Lakes solid, and drove record-shattering cold all the way into the Deep South. Now, I'm not saying we're about to replay that exact scenario, but the atmospheric parallels are hard to ignore. The jet stream carving a deep southern plunge, the polar vortex unleashing bursts of brutal Arctic air, and long-duration snow setups that just keep regenerating week after week. Let's talk timing, because this is where many people are going to be caught completely off guard. By the final days of October, the first true Arctic front dives straight out of Canada, slamming into the northern plains and Great Lakes. We're talking wind chills tumbling into the teens, and in some areas, single digits, before Halloween. Cities like Minneapolis, Green Bay, and Chicago will feel that winter bite early. I expect the first measurable snowfall to blanket portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin by October 27th, with a light coating possible in Chicago by the 29th or 30th. Moving into early November, that cold air mass spreads farther south and east. The Midwest and Ohio Valley will see their first major snow events of the season taking shape, while the Rockies and northern plains just keep getting hammered. I'm projecting 6 to 12 inches of early-season snow from the Dakotas down into Iowa and northern Missouri by mid-November. Denver, you're in for a strong start too. Likely 2 or 3 notable snowstorms before Thanksgiving even arrives. But the real story begins in December, when the entire pattern locks in. The jet stream becomes deeply amplified, with towering ridges over the western U.S., and plunging troughs over the east. That's the textbook setup for repeated Arctic outbreaks. Expect below-normal temperatures across nearly the entire central and eastern U.S. throughout much of December, accompanied by frequent snow-producing systems tracking along those temperature boundaries. The setup is classic. Gulf moisture surging northward, colliding with cold Arctic air descending from Canada. When that happens, you get snow, you get ice, and you get a lot of it. Let's break it down region by region. The Northeast. This region is in for a roller coaster of storms. Boston could be looking at 65 to 75 inches of snow this winter. That's about 10 to 15 inches above average. New York City may push 40 inches, with a couple of classic nor'easters bringing near-blizzard conditions. Upstate New York, Syracuse, Buffalo, might once again be staring down 100 to 120 inches. Thanks to relentless lake-effect snow. Those cold northwest winds blowing over the still warm Great Lakes will generate snow bands day after day through November and December. The Great Lakes and Midwest. This is where winter delivers its hardest punch. Chicago is on pace for 55 to 65 inches of snow, nearly double last year's total. Minneapolis could surpass 70 inches, while Detroit, Cleveland, and Milwaukee could all see 50 to 60 inches, with waves of Arctic air fueling snow squalls and deep freezes. And make no mistake, when those northwest winds rip across Lake Michigan and Lake Erie, we'll see whiteouts that halt travel more than once this season. The Plains and Upper Midwest, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska residents are used to tough winters, but this year could test even seasoned locals. The cold looks unrelenting. Expect prolonged stretches of sub-zero mornings before Thanksgiving. Fargo could stack up 60 to 70 inches, with Bismarck potentially pushing 75 inches. Even Kansas City might total 25 to 30 inches, a major jump from recent years. This winter is shaping up to be a major step above normal, with snow likely arriving in several powerful, well-spaced systems through December and January. The Rocky Mountains. The West is going to get buried. The northern Rockies across Montana and Wyoming are already off to a frigid start, but this season's snowpack looks nothing short of phenomenal. Denver could be staring at around 70 inches of snow, roughly 20 inches above average. The ski resorts in Colorado and Utah are set to thrive. Aspen, Vail, Park City, and Steamboat could easily rack up 350 to 400 inches of accumulation by late March. Even Albuquerque might see a couple of measurable snowfalls this year. The Pacific Northwest will see an active, stormy pattern, though not always cold enough at lower elevations. Still, the higher peaks of Washington and Oregon will pile up snow early and often. Mount Baker could once again challenge 600 inches, with the Cascades staying relentlessly active through February. Portland might even sneak in a few rare snow events in January when Arctic air temporarily spills westward. Now for the South, this is where it gets fascinating. The South will not escape winter this year, not even close. With the jet stream plunging far to the south, expect multiple Arctic air outbreaks reaching deep into Texas, Louisiana, and even parts of the Gulf Coast. Dallas could see 2 or 3 snow events totaling 5 to 10 inches, well above the city's norm. Little Rock may end up with 8 to 12 inches. And yes, we could see flakes as far south as Birmingham, Atlanta, and northern Mississippi at least once in December or January. Atlanta, in particular, might experience a rare 2 to 4 inch snowfall this season. The southeast and east coast will also feel the sting of this winter. Raleigh could tally 8 to 10 inches, while Washington, D.C., after a couple of quiet seasons, looks poised for a comeback with 15 to 20 inches or more if a coastal storm hits the sweet spot. Philadelphia and New York City will sit right in the battle zone, where rain-snow mixes could rapidly flip to heavy, accumulating snow as cold air deepens during major nor'easters. The West Coast and California aren't left out either. It won't be all snow, but the Sierra Nevada looks primed for another massive year, 300 to 400 inches across the higher elevations. That's great news for the state's water reserves, but will also make mountain travel hazardous all winter long. Now let's talk temperatures, because this is what will make this winter truly unforgettable. Through November and December, nearly everything east of the Rockies is projected to run 3 to 8 degrees below average, with the Midwest possibly plunging 10 degrees below normal for extended stretches. That means overnight lows in the single digits, or even below zero in Minneapolis, Chicago, and Green Bay. Not just once, but multiple times. Even Nashville, St. Louis, and Charlotte could wake up to mornings in the teens. January looks brutally cold, especially during the second and third weeks of the month, when the polar vortex may split again, unleashing another surge of frigid Arctic air. Expect wind chills near 40 degrees Celsius across the Dakotas and northern Minnesota, 20 degrees Celsius around Chicago, and even sub-zero readings into Oklahoma. February doesn't offer much relief either. It may turn into one of those months where winter simply refuses to loosen its grip. The deep snowpack across the Midwest and Northeast will reinforce the cold, helping it persist. And that's likely when another round of powerful snowstorms will hit. One of the biggest blizzards of the entire season could develop along the East Coast in mid to late February, fueled by that locked-in Arctic air and surging Atlantic moisture. Finally, let's discuss what's happening with Hurricane Melissa, because this is where things take a dangerous turn. When I say rapid intensification, I mean a storm feeding off near-perfect atmospheric conditions, like striking a match in a room filled with gasoline. Sea surface temperatures are at record highs. Wind shear is minimal. There's absolutely nothing standing in this system's way. Normally, hurricanes are fragile. They need precise alignment to thrive. But for Melissa, everything is aligning perfectly, and that's what makes this storm so alarming. By Monday morning, models like the European ECMWF show Melissa parked directly over Jamaica, centered near Kingston, with the eye wall possibly stalled for 12 to 18 hours. That scenario would be catastrophic. The winds alone will be life-threatening, but it's the rainfall that could trigger the true disaster. We're talking up to 600 millimeters, 25 inches, of rain in just a couple of days. No region, no matter how accustomed to tropical weather, can handle that kind of deluge. Expect catastrophic flooding, landslides, and debris flows. Roads could wash away. Rivers could burst their banks. Hillsides could collapse. This is not just damage. It's a life-or-death situation for anyone in flood-prone or mountainous terrain. And it won't stop with Jamaica. Southwest Haiti and parts of eastern Cuba are next in line. Haiti, with its steep terrain and vulnerable infrastructure, could see 600 to 700 millimeters of rainfall, setting the stage for widespread landslides and devastating flash floods. Even if Melissa's core misses the island, the rainfall alone could cause major, life-threatening impacts. If you'd like a personalized forecast for your city or region, drop it in the comments. I'll respond individually as time allows. Commenting is free, and your engagement helps this community grow. Thank you guys. See you in the next video.